Okay, so hi everyone. So today in this video we are going to solve this problem from CSES problem set that comes under the sliding window section, and this problem has been added very recently, and the problem name is sliding window sum, right? So let us start with this problem now. So the problem reads like this, that you are given an array of n integers and your task is to calculate the sum of each window of k elements from left to right. And in this problem the input data is quite large and it is created using a generator. So in the input, the first line contains two integers n and k, that is the number of elements and the size of the window, and the next line contains four integers x, a, b and c, and this will be used as the input generator parameters, right? And how we will generate the input? So the function is written here. So the first element of the array will be equal to this given x, right? And the remaining values will be generated using this formula, that is a into the previous element plus this b value mod this c value given, right? So in this way our input array will be generated. So that means key our array is not given directly and we have to generate it using this generator function. And what we have to do in the output is we have to print the XOR of all the window sums, right? So for each window of k size, right, so our k is also given, so for each window of k size we have to compute the sum of that window, and we have to XOR the sum of each individual windows with each other, right? And as you can see that the value of k and n can go up till quite high, that is 10 to the power 7, and the value of xab can also go very high up till 10 to the power 9, and similarly for c, right? So here is an input given, and for this input the expected output is 12. So let us move forward and try to understand this problem with an even bigger example, right, so that it would be easier for you to understand it very clearly. So let us move forward. So let us consider this example here, and in this example that I have considered by myself, let's say using the input generator function that is given in the problem, you are able to generate this array, that is starting from the first index and going till the 10th index, right? So since I always want to use one based indexing in case of these types of problems, so that's why I have considered this 0th index element, that is this 0, by myself. So it is not actually present in the given array, so the only elements that you are given with is from 1 to 10, right? So this is the original given array you will be given with, let's say, and the size of the window that you want to compute the answer for is k equal to 3, right? So the value of n is equal to 10, that is from 2 to 5, and the size for each window should be 3, right? So this is the input, and what is our task? Our task is to calculate the sum for each window of size 3. That is, first I want to compute the sum for this window, that is from 1 to 3rd index, because this window has a size of 3. Then I want to compute the sum for the next window, that is starting from 2 and going till 4, because this will be again of the size 3. And similarly we will move one step forward every time until all the windows sums have been calculated and XORed with each other, right? So this will be our task. So if you remember, then what we used to do if we want to calculate the sum for a particular continuous range in an array. So I hope you know this. So what we do is we simply take the prefix sum of the whole array, right? So let me show you that. So if you take the prefix sum of the given array that I have considered, so the prefix sum will come out something like this. So this will be the prefix array of that array that I have considered, right? So now if someone asks you to calculate the sum of all the elements in this range, let's say sum of all the elements, let's say from 3 to 8, right? From 3 to 8 you want the summation. So what is the summation from 3 to 8? It should be 3 plus 1 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 0. So which should be equal to 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 7 11, 11 plus 1 12, and 12 plus 9 21, and 21 plus 0 which is equal to 21 only. So we want 21 as the sum of this window, that is from 3 to 8, if someone asks you for that. So how will you determine the same thing using prefix sum array? So what we do is very simple. So since we want the sum from this 3 and going till this 8, so what we do is we first take the summation. Let me show you in the original array. So what we do is we first take the summation from starting from the 0th index and going all the way till this 8th index, right? So we take this sum minus we take the sum till 1 less than from where we want to start, right? So since we want to compute the sum starting from 3, so we go to 2 and then we take the sum starting from the 0th index and going till the second index. So in this way we are able to compute the sum from 3 to 8, right? So that's why if you do the same thing in this prefix array, then what will happen is you will write prefix sum of this 8th index minus prefix sum of this second index. So what will this give? So if I write here, so it will give us prefix sum of this 8th index minus prefix sum of this second index, which should be equal to 28 minus 7. And what is this equal to? So it is equal to 21, and this is the expected output, as I also told before, right? So that's why if you want to compute the sum for any continuous range in an array or a sub array, so you can use this prefix sum array in order to determine the sum in constant time, right? You just need to subtract these two values in order to determine the range sum, right? And you can use this prefix sum technique only if the elements are constant, that is they are not changing, because if the elements are changing, then in that case you might need to use the segmentary concept, right? So we will use the same thing here. So since this is our given array and now we have computed our prefix sum here, so let us start with our very first window. So before starting, let me also tell you one thing, that how many windows will be present totally. So if you look in this array, let me draw it here. So our very first window will start from the first index and will go till the third index like this, right? So this will be our very first window. Then we will move one step forward, and in that case this will be our second window, and then again we will move forward. So this will be our third window, right? So this will be our third window, and then again we will move forward. So this will be our fourth window, and then this will be our fifth window, and then this will be our sixth window, this will be our seventh window, and then this will be finally our eighth window. So a total of 8 windows will be present. And how this 8 we can determine beforehand? So we just need to subtract this k from this n and add a +1, right? So if you do this formula, that is n minus k plus 1, so here it will be equal to 10 minus 3, that is 7, plus 1, which is 8. So a total of 8 windows are present. So once this thing is clear to you, let us move forward and start with our very first window. But before starting that, since we know that for each window sum we need to compute the XOR with each other, so that's why I'll be storing my result in this result variable, which initially is initialized to 0. And you should also know one important fact, that if you take the XOR of any number, let's say 7 with 0, then the resulting number will be this 7 only, right? Similarly, if you take the XOR of any number with itself, then it should be equal to 0, right? So I hope you know these two things. These are very basic. So since our final result will be stored in this variable, so keep this in mind. So every time we will compute the sum of each window, and after computing the sum we will take the XOR with this result variable only, because this is what the question has asked for. So let us move forward with our very first window. So this will be our first window. So as you can see that our first window is starting from this first index and going till the third index, because the value of k was 3, right? So it means that now we want to compute the sum for this window. And as I have told you that in order to compute the sum for this window, that is from first to third index, what we do is in this prefix sum array, we just subtract the prefix sum of this end point minus the prefix sum of this start point, right? Because since we want to calculate the summation from 1 to 3, so it means that our end will be this 3, right? Our end will be this 3, but our start will be 1 less than where we want to start our summation. So since we want to start our summation from 1, then if you take 1 less than it, then it means that our start will start from this position, that is the 0th index, right? So that's why if you want to compute the sum for this window, so you will say that prefix sum of third, right? You will say prefix sum of this third minus prefix sum of this 0, that is prefix sum of this end minus prefix sum of this start. So what it will do, it will give you the sum for 1 to third, right? So here it will be equal to prefix sum of 3 is equal to 10 and prefix sum of this 0 is equal to 0. So 10 minus 0, that is 10. So it means that the total sum of elements in the original array from 1 to third index is equal to 10. And since this is the sum of the very first window, so what we have to do, we have to take the XOR of this sum with the result variable. So since the result variable that we have initialized is equal to 0, so that's why I will say result will be equal to whatever result value already exists, that is 0 XOR with this current sum value, that is 0 XOR 10. And since I have told you that if you take the XOR of 0 with any number, then it becomes equal to that number. So that's why the result variable as of now will be equal to 10, right? So the XOR result will be equal to 10 for the first window. So I hope you got this thing, how the result for the first window has been derived, right? So once this is clear, let us move to the next window and see what will happen. So earlier this window was present here, but after moving to the second window, it has been slided like this one step, right? And now we want to compute the answer for this window. And now since we want to compute the answer for this window, that is the total sum of elements from the second to the fourth index in the original array. And again, if you have noticed that as the window has slided one step, then our start and end variable or the start and end index has also slided one step forward along with the window. So since earlier our start was 0 and end was 3, now our start is at 1 and end is at 4, right? So again, since we want to calculate the sum from second to fourth index, so I will say that the prefix sum of this end minus prefix sum of this start, right? That is the prefix sum of this 4 minus prefix sum of this 1, right? So it means that in the original array it will give you the sum for this minus this, which is equal to this, right? So it will be equal to here 11 minus 2, so 11 minus 2 equal to 9. So it means that the sum for the second window in the original array is equal to 9. And also if you see in the original array here, then for this second window, which is actually this, so this is our second window, right, which is equal to 5 plus 3 plus 1, that is 5 plus 3 8 and 8 plus 1 9. So the sum of the second window should be 9, which is coming here. So the sum of the second window is coming 9. So since this is the sum of the second window, so it means that we have to XOR this result with the existing XOR value. And since the XOR that had come previously was equal to 10, so I would say 10 XOR this current sum value. So 10 XOR 9, which is equal to 3. So it means that after processing the second window, our result in the result variable is 3, right? That is the XOR of summation of two window elements. Fine. So we will do the same thing again for the third window. So let us move forward. So again, as we will move to the third window, so as you can see that before our start was at 1 and end was at 4, so 1 comma 4, and now they both will increase by 1. So now it will become start will get equal to 2 and end will get equal to 5, so 2 comma 5. So our end window before was equal to this, and now it has slided one step, so it is now equal to this, right? So now if we want to compute the sum for this third to 5 index in the original array, so again we will do the same thing. So let us do it quickly because the same thing is happening. So I will say prefix sum till 5th index minus prefix sum till this second index, that is prefix sum till end minus prefix sum till start. So it will be equal to 11, it will be equal to 18 minus 7. So 18 minus 7, it will be equal to 11, right? So it means that the sum of this window, that is the third window in the original array, is equal to 11. And also if you see in the original array here for the third window, so I guess this is the third window, right? So this was the first window, this is the second window, and this is the third window. So for the third window, if you see the sum, then it is equal to 3 plus 1 4 and 4 plus 7 11. So the sum is 11 for the third window. So we should have got 11 as the sum, and yes, we have got it. So the sum for this window is 11 here, as you can see. And since this is a sum, so what we want to XOR this sum value with the existing result value, right? So since the existing result value here, if you see, is 3, so it means that we want to do the XOR of this 3 with this sum value, that is 11. So 3 XOR 11, which is equal to 8. So it means that after processing the third window, our result variable is finally holding a value of 8. So again we will do the same thing for the fourth window as well. So for the fourth window, we want the sum from 4 to 6th index, so it will be equal to prefix sum of this 6 minus prefix sum of this 3, which will be equal to 19 minus 10, that is 9. So it means that we have to XOR this 8 with this 9, so it will be equal to 1, right? So in this, our fourth window will also be done, and then we'll move next to the fifth window, because there are a total of 8 windows, don't forget that. So again, if you want to compute the sum of this window, that is from 5 to 7 index in the original array, then in the prefix sum array you have to take the difference of this 7th index with this 4th index, that is prefix sum of 7 minus prefix sum of this 4. So it will be equal to this 28 minus this 11, so 28 minus 11, which will be equal to 17. So it means that you have to take the XOR of the latest result value, which is 1, with this current sum value. So 1 XOR 17, so 1 XOR 17 is equal to 16. So this will be the result after the fifth window is processed. And then we will move forward, and this will be our sixth window. So in the sixth window, we want the sum from 6 to 8th index. We will take the prefix sum till 8th index minus prefix sum till 5th index, right? So prefix sum of this end minus prefix sum of this start. So 28 minus 18, which is equal to 10. So it means that we have to take the XOR of this 10 with this 16. So 10 XOR 16, which is equal to 26. So in this way, our sixth window is also done. Let us move forward with the last second window. So this is our last second window, because after this will be our last window, right? So this is our last second window, and in this window, if you see, then we want the sum for 7 to 9 range in the original array, and in order to get this, we will take the prefix sum difference first for the 9 and then for the 6, that is prefix sum of 9 minus prefix sum of 6, which will be equal to 32 minus 19. So 32 minus 19 will be equal to 13. So it means that you have to take the XOR of this 13, that is the sum of this current window, that is 7th window, with the latest XOR value, which is this 26. So that's why 13 XOR 26, which will be equal to 23. And finally, after processing the last second window, we will enter our last window here, for which the start value is 7 and end value is 10, because every time the value of start and end index is getting increased by 1 time as our window is getting slided forward, right? So now if you want the summation of the last window, that is from 8 to 10, so what we will do, we will take the prefix sum here for the 10th index minus prefix sum for the 7th index. So in that case, we will get the prefix sum for this range in the original array, right? So if you do that here, then it will be equal to prefix sum of this 10 minus prefix sum of 7, that is 37 minus 28, that is this element minus this element. So it will be equal to 9, and since this is equal to 9, so it means that for the 8th window, the sum should be 9. And also if you look in the original array, if I make you see that, then as you can see that for the last window, so since this was our last window, so the sum is 0 plus 4 plus 5, which is equal to 9 only, right? So the sum for the last window should be 9, and which is true here. So what you have to do is, you have to take the XOR of this current window sum, that is the sum of the 8th window, with the latest result value. Since the latest result value was for the 7th window and it was equal to 23, so it means that you have to take the XOR of 23 with this 9. So 23 XOR 9 equal to 30. And in this way, what will happen after that is, this window will move forward like this, that is our end value will cross the array size. It means that all of the 8 windows have been processed and we don't have to do anything. And since after processing all the 8 windows, our final result value is equal to this 30, right? So our final result value is equal to this 30, so it means that you just have to print this 30. So this is the whole logic behind this problem, right? So what we did was, we continuously took the XOR and finally got 30, right? So I hope you got this concept. So if I make you see the code, then it will be something like this. So first what we are doing is, we are taking the input for n and k, right? And then the 4 integers x, a, b, c as given in the problem, and then using this thing we are actually generating the input. So since I want to generate an array in based of one based indexing only, because I want to use the first element for the first index and second element for the second index, right? So that's why I have took an array here, nums for n plus 1 size and not n, right? And since in the question it is given that you have to assign this x value for the first element, so that's why I have here done nums of 1 equal to x. And then using the generator function here, I have assigned the value for the remaining elements from 2 to n. So after the input has been done for the array till here, what I have done is I have initialized the prefix sum array of the same size as the original array, and then I just have took the prefix sum here. So I hope you know how to take the prefix sum. So I will start from the one index and will go till the last index, and I will just say prefix sum of this I, that is current element, will be equal to the prefix sum till previous element plus the value of current element. So it will give me the prefix sum array, and after the prefix sum array is made till this line, what I have done is, since I have told you that the total number of windows that will be present will be equal to n minus k plus 1, so it means that I only need to slide the window n minus k plus 1 times, that is total moves number of times. So that's why I have started a loop here from 1 to total number of moves, that is the total number of times that I need to slide the window, right? And for each window I know the start position and the end position. So initially the start position will be 0 and our end position will be equal to k. So in order to compute the sum for any window, what we will do, we will take the prefix sum of this end minus prefix sum of this start, and after taking that difference of them, I will store it in a sum value. So this will be the sum of my current window, and I will take a XOR with the latest result value, and I have initialized this result variable here, as you can see. And after doing this, we also need to increase the end and start index by 1 1. So that's why I have done a end plus plus or start plus plus here. So you can also do it in the separate lines here below this result or above this result, but I have done this in the same line only so that the code looks minimal, right? And finally I have printed this result value after all the 8 windows or the total number of moves have been completed. So I hope you understood this problem. I tried my best to make you explain it. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.